What's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? How's it happening? You guys know who it is. This is Kevin from the Chord Progression podcast, brought to you at MSOTD Rocks, where rock and metal thrive. Wishing you a happy Thursday. It is October 8th, and this is one for the record books, folks, because this is a major upcoming band in rock and metal. They are called SAUL. Their debut album, Rise Equals, comes out on October 23rd, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get to interview these guys, but luck of the draw, I guess, because I got a chance to talk to them about Riot Equals. I got a chance to talk to them about what it was like working with David Draiman of Disturbed. Oh, yeah, I know that's not the best that I could have done it, but whatever. And we also got to talk about some fun stuff, just concerts and whatnot. And it's all condensed into the 1 30-minute episode, but trust me, this was an incredible 30 minutes, and I cannot wait for you guys to listen to this and watch it. So enough with me talking. Are you guys ready? Let's go! Yeah! Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression podcast, this good guy named Tim was able to help me get this band on the podcast, and I found out about them thanks to our good friend Joe Alfano, who put me on their Facebook fan page, and that guy never misses. So please welcome to the podcast Blake from the band SAUL. So Blake, welcome to the Chord Progression podcast.
Thank you for having me, brother. Happy to be here.
Happy to have you on as well. And I'm just going to start out with this. I know you got the new album Rises Equals coming out on the 23rd. And thankfully, I was able to, get a listen to it for this podcast. And I think my review of it had like 17 pages worth of stuff on it. Like,
really?
I spent about 5 hours one night on this whole entire thing. I'm like, okay, I just want to get this done right. And all of a sudden I'm just thinking, I'm like, this thing just keeps going and going and going. But I'm just going to put it out there this way. For a debut album, this is damn good.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. We put our heart and souls into this record, really, and we definitely wanted to come out swinging with having every song just be. We wanted every song to have its own life and no filler, all killer. So we definitely tried on this one.
Really pulling out the Sum 41 reference right there.
Right. Yeah.
Nice. So, of course, the first thing I want to talk about with this is your song King of Misery, due to the fact that right now I am wearing a Disturbed t-shirt, and one of their biggest fans, who was their Fighter of the Month for September 2019, she'll kick my ass if I don't ask this question, along with myself as well, because King of Misery, you worked with Disturbed frontman David Draiman on this track. So I got to ask, what was it like working with David on this track? Because holy crap, how the hell did you get that to happen?
It was really cool working with David. He was a very down-to-earth, nice guy. I wish it was a better story. It's just the guys at the label knew him, and turns out he was a fan of us. And when approached about doing a song with us, he was like, yep, I'm down. Let's make it happen. And it was cool, I was a huge Disturbed fan. I was still am, you know what I mean? So I had to fangirl on him for like a good hour before we got real started, and it was cool. It was cool talking to somebody that you looked up to for so long. It was very cool, and having to be a nice guy and just want to be involved and have ideas and, working back and forth in like a peer situation, not just him being on this pedestal, you know what I mean? Of like this global guy, but it was very cool. It was very cool.
I mean, with your album being called Rises Equals, and you're kind of working on that equal playing field with David Draiman at this exact same moment in time. I mean, it just kind of all worked out really well, honestly.
It really did. It really did. I was happy for it. I mean, I definitely would have preferred to do it in person, but we had to do it over Zoom just like this. But it all worked out in the end.
Hey, but the other thing too is again, with the time that we're in right now, because I'm assuming you guys were recording this and really putting this together like March, April, when this whole entire pandemic thing and everyone was kind of locked in their houses and like, I need to get out, but I can't go nowhere kind of vibe. So
yep.
It's totally understandable. Was there anything that he told you or was like bringing to the table that just blew your mind in terms of, okay, maybe try this on King of Misery, maybe try something else, and just turn it into this incredible track that, I mean, every time I'm seeing, especially Joe posted in that Facebook page, it's like every single time I see some posted, it's like, okay, King of Misery overtook this song in like some battle, like one from Asking Alexandria. King of Misery is just like playing an Octane like crazy right now. Yep. Or on a Sirius XM Octane page, it's like, yep, Saul's the band of the month because, well, yep, that makes sense due to the fact that the album's coming out soon. So it makes total sense.
It was cool. And like, I don't know if he brought anything to the table that like, I would say blew me away, but he put it in my head that, let's have the heaviness of the lyric content and the vocal melody carry the weight, not so, growly and heavy. And so that really put an influence on, how we were going to approach the song for sure. Because when we got into it, it was 2-3 ideas that we were, coming back with back and forth. And then, I was like, give me a day. I have an idea. Let me wrap it up a little bit, and then I'll bounce it over to you. And, so that's where the chorus of King of Misery came from. And then we started diving in. And then when we doubled it up, he's like, let's have the terrifies me, and then the King of Misery, like, so that was really flavors that David put in there. And I mean, there's a bunch of stuff, just the way he came in. You see these flies, man. I my studio and stuff is in my garage, and the doors I pop open and they're just constantly here.
Yeah, I could see him flying around just a little bit. I was wondering, wait, are there flies there? But that makes total sense if you're in your garage. Don't worry. I mean, before this, during the summer when I was doing podcasts in here, just because I had a crappy AC unit that would just, if I had it turned on while I was recording, you would hear it so loud. So I'm like, okay, I have to deal with like shooting in 80, 90 degree heat, windows
Yeah.
closed, so you won't hear motorcycles going through the background. And I'm just like sitting here sweating. Now I got a nice air conditioner right at the end of like summer. So I'm like, oh, this sucks. But today here it's supposed to be high of 80s, and I've got 4 of these to record today. So I'm like, you know what? I'm popping that bad boy on, and I'm just gonna relax in luxury while I do this.
Yeah, yeah, no, I don't hear anything, so that's cool.
Yes. Well, back on the King of Misery, I think David definitely put a great idea in your head to kind of have the vocal melodies and having the melodic style carry the weight of that song, because it has just incredible progression as it goes through, especially given the content of the lyrics and what the meaning behind the songs is, because you can really feel the power just behind what those vocals are carrying.
Right, for sure. And I think that's where his mentality came from, that it was lyrically heavy. So, don't overdo it with, going too heavy on it. So I appreciate him saying that, and he was definitely right.
Yeah, and as you can see, like especially with Disturbed's records from their last one with Evolution, on a song like Hold On to Memories, like they had did the exact same thing, but with much more of an acoustic setting, where it's just the vocals just carried everything with that heaviness of the meaning of the song. However, they've done it on the reverse as well with a song like Inside the Fire, where it's just
Mm.
heavy lyrical content, but it's just brutally hard right in your face as well. I did get
Right.
in trouble in grade school for that one though, but yeah, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? Yeah. No, it's cool. Yeah, it was definitely it was a game changer working with David. I just remember back in the day, I used to covering like Stupefy and stuff. So it was awesome. I loved it.
Oh, I'm still waiting for my one chance where I get to meet David Draiman, because I've seen him. I saw him twice last year in concert. Once in Chicago, once here in Milwaukee, and the same person who would kill me if I didn't ask that question about David Draiman. She ended up like saving me 2 spots, like right in the front. Each time I'm
Nice.
like, oh, this is nice. And every time I'm like, okay, who are we gonna be by? Right by John Moyer. Okay, cool, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
Yeah.
the whole entire time just jamming out, just rocking hard. All of a sudden they play Inside the Fire, the solo hits, and just fire everywhere. I
Oh,
swear my eyebrows should have been singed off at that point, but you know what? Yeah, what you gonna do?
it's part of the experience. Yeah. Near
It's a,
death is part of the experience.
if you don't have a near death experience at a rock or metal show, you might not be doing it right.
I agree. I do agree.
That's usually how it goes. That's all my good stories end up happening. I got hurt this way or this way. I almost got burnt, but you know what? It's worth it. That's
Uh-huh.
always that's the ones you remember the most.
For sure. That's the ones you tell. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then jumping back into Rise Equals as well, because I was really going through and trying to figure out, like all the themes of each song and kind of like how the styles worked out in each of the songs. I'm like, this really did well, especially given the theme of just kind of what I thought was, and you can attest this as well, just from where you guys were when you started out to where you guys are now, and just everything that's happened in between and how that's molded you as a band and how you've overcome adversity within not only the music industry but within your personal lives as well.
No, yeah, definitely. We tried to incorporate that vibe for sure, and it was something. I mean, we definitely write songs from like a personal experience. So every song on the record definitely has its place on what happened in the last year, and so we definitely try to bring that forward. And on songs, like "Don't Close Your Eyes," my fear of drowning, "Looking to Fight," about near divorce and breakup and stuff. And it's definitely, everything's got its really personal touch to it. And I can say that it's from real experience from us.
And when it comes to that real experience, well, especially listening to this, you can hear it come out in every single song. So take a look at a song like Looking to Fight, where it has this build up to all of a sudden when you get to the chorus, it has that call to action feel, like you're not going to give up. You're whatever's keeping you down. You're just going to keep going. You're going to keep fighting to the point where you're not going to let this thing defeat you, whatever it might be, whether it might be divorce or a breakup, just something that really affects you. From coming from personal experience, I mean, I almost had a breakup personally, I let it just completely destroy me, but
Right.
end up getting back up there. So I can kind of feel something like that. But then another song that's already been out there that you had in the album with Brother, holy crap, you can just feel just every single bit of emotion in every single aspect of that song, from the instrumentals, from your vocals, from everything. Just the power behind it is immense.
Yeah, and that song, when we wrote it, because that story is about, the guitar player and myself, brothers. We lost our older brother in 2009, and it took us a long time to write that song. We hadn't worked on it. I'm not saying we worked on it, the whole time or anything, but when we started diving into it and realizing we wanted to do a song in dedication to Caleb, it almost kind of wrote itself. The words just kind of spilled out and the music just came. So it was a very good feeling, like a moment of like release, and for the song to take off the way it did, being that personal. I mean, it was, that was huge. That was huge for us.
Well, one thing when it comes to songs that are real personal as well, especially within the rock and metal scene, it seems like when they are, people can really tell when they come from a place of deep meaning, and when you're putting your full emotion out there. I mean, take a look at a song like Aftermath from the Ghost Inside, with everything they've gone through from the past 5 years, just trying to go from that bus crash to get back. Everything in that song, you can really feel the emotion of just that grind, just that constant disappointment of all of a sudden setbacks, and all of a sudden now you're going to finally put this, self-titled record out just to complete the comeback. And that song let it off, and it was fantastic. With Brother, it's the same kind of feel where you can really feel the pure emotion that's coming from you, that's coming from the rest of the guys. And if it took you that long to write it and just really figure out exactly what you wanted to say and how you wanted to portray it, I mean, you absolutely killed it on that one. My God, was it good.
Thank you. Yeah. We definitely had heart and soul into that one for sure. And I think with the new record, when it's coming out, I think all these songs in whole are definitely heartfelt songs.
Oh, very much so. I mean, kind of similar to another band that I just recently had an interview with James Clark of Kill the Lights, because he did that same kind of thing where everything that he talked about in each song was something about different with his mental health, and you can just hear the emotion, you can really feel it, and when you get deep into those songs, when you really get lost in them, you can really feel what that emotion was, and then you can kind of transcend that into your own life and figure out, okay, what are they talking about that I can relate to, and just give a tangible feeling to a thought that you might not necessarily be able to explain. You guys do an incredible job on this album, especially with kind of the melodic progressions that you have on the whole entire thing. It just really adds to that just deep digging emotional feel that everyone's going to hear when they listen to these.
Right. And, I don't know if that's something, personally intentionally doing, but I guess it's just felt right to do it that way. You know what I mean? Have those, syncopated rhythms, but, we wanted to have big melodies and and really come out swinging, with our second release after Brother, with Trial by Fire. We just wanted to show that, we can go pretty darn heavy too, so there's a mixed bag on this record for sure.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a mixed bag because there's like there's a ballad in there. There's one that's a little bit more slow, especially towards the end as well. Then you get something that's like, it's even more like, God, what song was it? Sticks and Stones has this more metalcore feel to it. God, I remember the first time when I listened to that, when it started out, this is literally me. I'm just like, wait, they're doing this? No.
Yeah.
Just, you take this like hard rock sound, this melodic hard rock sound, and then you mix it in so many different ways where all of a sudden it's like, okay, you got melodic metal, melodic alt metal, metalcore, you got a ballad in there. Like everything is just, it's very diverse within the sound, but it all fits very well in the album. So it doesn't feel like anything's out of place.
Right. I feel the same way when I listen to it, and it's really hard for me to pick like my favorite song or anything on it, because I'll go to the next track and be like, well, no, that was my favorite, and then I'll go to the next one like, gosh dang, what, that one's my favorite. So it's really hard for me to pick one. And Sticks and Stones, I swear that was the funnest song for us to do in the studio. It was just not holding back, because when we got signed last year, we thought we had friends that ended up, unfollowing us on Facebook and all this stuff, and jealous and talking mad stuff on us. So that's what Sticks and Stones is about. It's directed right to some people. Let's just say some people.
I'll say this. I'm not surprised to hear that as well, just because, especially with what's going on right now in today's world. Back earlier in the month of September, there was a show up in the middle of, I'm going to say bumfuck nowhere, Wisconsin, but two bands that I've interviewed before on the podcast were playing up there to a really small crowd, and I drove 3.5 hours up there from Milwaukee. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go check them out, just give them my support. And one of the bands was telling me how they were getting a lot of backlash on social media from other bands. They didn't tell me who they were, and I didn't ask, but it was just somewhere it's like they were just constantly putting all their effort into basically bashing them because they were going out and playing small shows instead of sitting at home and doing nothing.
Yeah. If you're gonna sit home and do nothing, at least shut up about it.
Exactly. It's just because I'm sitting there, I'm like, everyone's pretty much spaced out here. There's like 60 people maybe, and the only person there's only 2 people in the front that are actually like banging their heads. Me being one of them, because I'm just a crazy guy. I'm like, I kind of want to see if I can get trying to get a one-man mosh pit going at that just wasn't necessarily going to do me well, because I was going to end up hurting myself.
Right. See, and that's the experience. That's how you remember that, though.
Oh yeah. I also remember too that there's a band, which one? They're called The Protest. They one of the their drummer gave me a monster. He's like, yeah, you're still driving home tonight, because it was 9:30 when I left. I had 3.5 hours to drive home in the middle of the night in the rain. He's like, yeah, you're gonna want this. Just gives me a big can of Monster. Just like, yeah, you're gonna, just so you don't die.
Yeah. Let's not die tonight. Yep.
And then if I'm also correct, I've seen that you guys have been playing some live shows as well here and there.
We did. We played 4 shows. The first one we did a small festival down in where was it? Fort Madison, Iowa, called River Fest, and that was good. Decent turnout, like 1,000 people. So it wasn't huge or anything. And then we did 2 nights at Sturgis, and then we did our hometown show that we shot our music video for Rises Equals. And they were all good shows, all fun shows. I mean, we're grown adults, you want to wear a mask and social distance, do your thing. But it was cool. I'm glad we did them. We needed those 4 shows this year. Otherwise I was going to go crazy.
Yeah, the same thing with me. We're just like, yeah, I just need to go to a show. And there was one I went to back in July. It was pretty much the only one that had like any kind of a face mask on, just because it was July. I didn't really know what the heck to expect.
Yep.
Everyone was kind of packed into a small room, but there weren't that many people. Like, okay, this is fine. All of a sudden, a little mosh pit breaks out in front, and like I haven't gotten punched in the face in like 5 months. Run on in there, and the band, and I've interviewed the band before. They didn't know it was me, because it was like I had a hat on, and then I had this neck gaiter on, but it looked like a Guy Fawkes mask. Okay. So everyone was wondering who the heck is in the Guy Fawkes mask, just going crazy and wrecking people in the mosh pit, because all of a sudden people were asking to get launched, and everyone's just looking at me, and I'm like, I'm not that big, guys. I'm like 6'1", 185. Come on, this ain't that big.
Yeah.
And still just there they go.
That's awesome. Yeah, I want to get back to that. I want to start. I like indoor venues, and I definitely want to get back to that too, because every show we did this year was outside, which is fun. I love them too, but you can't beat the nice, cool indoor venue where everybody just wants to slam. I love it.
Exactly. So when you guys are able to start doing indoor venues again, come to Milwaukee, please, because I would really like that.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? We played Milwaukee, what was it, a couple of years ago. Real small place, but it was fun. It was our first time in Milwaukee. I liked it out in Milwaukee. It was a nice city, and I definitely want to get back there.
I'm trying to think. Do you remember the name of the venue at all? I mean, there's probably so many different venues that you've played at that the names all run together.
I can't remember, because we only did it the one time. It's usually, if it's a reoccurring thing, it always sticks with me, but I can't think of it. I'll have to shoot you a message after this. Yeah,
please do, because I kind of want to know because I've got a couple in mind where it could be, because I'm not sure if it would be the Rave, just because the Rave is the biggest one in Milwaukee, where there's 3 different stages within that one venue. Okay. It might be Turner Hall, it might be X-Ray Arcade. I'm not entirely sure, but
I can't. Nothing's ringing a bell. I'll have to look back through emails.
If you can, I know you've got a busy day today, so if you get a chance, please send me a message, because I kind of want to see where this was, just because I'm always curious about this whole thing. Be like, oh, I've been there, yay!
That's awesome, yeah.
But especially after this album, when it comes out, I can almost guarantee that when you guys do come around, when live shows come around again, that you guys will be playing at the Rave here in Milwaukee, which is like the concert hall here in Milwaukee. Hopefully you guys are up in the ballroom, but if you guys are in the club level or in the basement, doesn't matter. You're gonna just see people just slamming into each other because that's so much fun.
That's awesome. There's something about Wisconsin, man, that we truly love because everybody there is like metalhead, rocker, like ready to throw down and like the nicest people. It's like the best of all the worlds, put together for, the rock and metal bands coming through. And Wisconsin's, they got it, man. They're ready to throw down. I love it.
Oh, I can personally attest to that because I'm one of those people. At first, at times I'm like, oh, get a mosh pit. Like everyone gets a mosh pit. I'm on the edge. There's sometimes where just for some reason I've got a little skittishness to it, and someone's like, "You want to go in there?" I'm just like, "Just push me, man. Just push me right on in, and just we'll leave it at that." And I just get launched in there, and just if I get hit by one person, this happened in Madison this year when I saw We're Alive Escape the Fate and Falling in Reverse. I got in there the first 5 seconds, big dude, 350 pounds, just levels me, fall flat on my back, get the wind knocked out of me, just. Rest of the day I was good. I got the big hit out of the way, even though I almost broke my nose at that show, but still got the big hit out of the way right away. Let's go.
Yeah, wow, that's awesome.
And well, I gotta ask this question because I know everything that was going on with Sturgis, you actually had like a crowd where it was, well, no one really cared about anything. It was like a crowd back in 2019 where especially with the Sturgis Festival. So what was it like playing there, especially for 2 nights?
It was good. Sturgis was awesome. We did back-to-back nights at the Iron Horse, and it was just awesome. Everybody was just kind of, like you said, back to normal. And it was something that, we needed, and I think needs to happen sooner than later. We got to get back to that. I think it was really cool. I don't personally know anybody that was there that came down with COVID or anything. So, cool.
I mean, I'll put it this way. If there are people that are able to attend a bunch of different political rallies, if people that are able to attend sporting events, why can't we just go and just slam into each other at concerts anymore? I mean, come on.
Yeah. I mean, we got, restaurants and bars and stuff open, and then, a lot of venues and stuff closing down because they won't bring in live music. And I don't understand what's going on right now. It needs to stop real quick.
Yeah.
I was talking to the guys, regardless, early 21, we're going to go out and do some headlining runs. So
yes,
we're tired of it.
I'm expecting to see a date in Milwaukee or somewhere around here, even if it's Chicago, because I don't care. It's like if it's an hour and a half away, I'm like, okay, this is fine.
Right. Yeah, Chicago and Milwaukee are real close, aren't they?
Yeah, 90 miles apart. It's only an hour and a half. So I usually, like last year I was going to Chicago a good amount for shows. However, most of the time it was to see Rise Against because, well,
oh yeah,
I can't stop doing that.
Yep.
I mean, that's one way how I supported, like, because with all the venues trying to make money, like the Rave, they were auctioning off a bunch of like their tour posters that they had from 30 plus years that were signed, and I've got a Rise Against one that I got hanging up on the wall right now. I'm just like, that makes this area feel complete.
Even though that's awesome. Rise Against is awesome too.
I think I've seen them 9 times at this point. I was hoping for number 10 this year, but I'm just like, damn it, COVID.
Yeah, no kidding. I haven't seen them live, but I watch a lot of their live stuff on like YouTube and and I listen to their albums and everything, but mainly through Spotify. That's where I do a lot of my streaming. But I love those dudes. Really good.
Yeah. I highly suggest you go see a show because the last one I was at Riot Fest last year, and it was something where everyone was packed in so heavily because they weren't the headliner for that night because the headliner that night was Slayer. But Rise Against was right before Slayer on the stage right next to him in the park. So I was like, okay, everyone's over there waiting to get over to Slayer. So and it was hot, humid. And at one point, it was like halfway through. I'm dying. I'm right near the front. I'm just like, oh my God, I got to find just some kind of air. Someone opens up a mosh pit about 20 feet away from me. And I just point. I'm like, there, air. And someone's like, dude, that's a mosh pit up there. I'm like, yes, I know. And I went over there and just was having a blast, just going nuts in it.
At least it was open up a little bit. I hate being super tight, like crammed up in the, you know what I mean? Like get me in some wide open area. Yeah.
Oh, it turned even better when all of a sudden it seemed like everyone was ready to pass out. All of a sudden it was like, okay, we're going to slow it down. Tim breaks out the acoustic guitar, plays Swing Life Away. And everyone is just like, we needed this breather so damn bad.
Right. Yep. And well, it's just because Rise Against, almost every song is that up tempo, kind of vibe. So you want to vibe to it, and then Swing Life Away. I bet it was a nice breather for sure.
Yeah, it's like I still have a Snapchat video that I saved from it. It literally looks like I jumped out of a pool with my shirt on. That's how much sweat was just drenched in it, but it was just absolutely amazing. So I'm hoping that when live shows come back that the same thing happens, but with you guys on stage, because that would be freaking awesome.
That we're looking forward to that. Gosh, I hope it happens soon.
I hope so too, and I know you got to go real soon. And one thing I'm gonna do is, like, especially as the album gets closer to release day, because I had 17 pages for a whole review on this, and when I had my final thought in it, my final thought was, when you think of great debut albums, you think of something like Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses. Does Saul reach that level of greatness on the exact same level? Not sure, but at the very bare minimum, they'll come in just under it, like right under it. So, because I thought this album was absolutely fantastic. One of the best debuts I've heard in a while.
Really? Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Because like we said, there's so much different stuff going on this album. It has this bass in like more of a melodic hardcore alt metal or hard rock alt metal kind of style, but there's so much more going on here. There's some metalcore going on here. There's some ballad stuff going on here, but everything is progressed really nicely. A lot of the emotion that's brought out in the vocals and in the instrumentation is expressed perfectly. So, I mean, this was, for a debut album, this is a masterclass in debut albums right here.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. That's awesome.
And when that review comes out on YouTube, I will say the exact same thing. Maybe different words, but the overall arching theme will be the exact same.
Cool. I'm excited. When are you doing that? When are you releasing that?
I'll probably release the review of the album the Wednesday night beforehand. So then all of a sudden Thursday comes around, people will be able to watch it and be like, get all pumped up for it. Then all of a sudden Friday, boom, album drop.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Well, before we get going, I'm going to say this to everybody. When it comes to following Saul and listening to this album, look in the description of the video on the podcast. One-stop shop. All the links are going to be there. Everything I can find so that you guys can follow this band, like this band. And if you're on Facebook, please follow the Rises Equals page. I'll put that in there as well so you can get in all with the Saul fans. Thank you, Joe Alfano, for that one. And yeah. So, Blakes, I know you got to get going. I'm just going to say this. It was incredible to have you on for this time. Thank you very much. This album is absolutely amazing. And when live shows return, when you guys come back to Milwaukee, I'm going to keep saying this. I've said it a lot, but I'm totally down for this, and I'm going to keep my word. First round's on me.
Okay. I like that. Awesome. And we're definitely going to make that happen for Milwaukee for sure.
Awesome. So that means that this is not a goodbye. This is going to end with my favorite. See you later.
Yeah, right.
All right, see you, Blake.
Later.
Well, folks, that was my interview with Blake from the band Saul. And yeah, I know this was a little bit shorter than what I normally do, but they are doing a lot of interviews, doing a lot of stuff. So we only had a half hour to do it in, but I want to make sure that half hour was the best half hour of a podcast that we could possibly give. And I think we absolutely nailed that. So I'm going to close this episode with this. When it comes to Saul, when it comes to Rises Equals, this album, will it be as good of a debut as Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses was? Only time will tell. But at the bare minimum, where do I think it's going to come in? Just under that. This album is absolutely incredible. It will be on, most likely will be on my top 10 list for albums of the year when that comes out. Watch for the review of it to come out on October 21st on our YouTube channel, so you get a much more in-depth look at it from my perspective. And I've got another category, which is like top albums from like emerging bands. So I want to give those emerging bands scene. This is their debut, so they fit in that category. And I honestly believe this is going to end up on there, along with bands like Rebel Manic will probably be on there. Stand the Canvas will be on there. And we'll see who else shows up. But this was absolutely incredible. I want to thank Blake for being on the podcast. And my God, yes, I do owe him. Wait, I got it. Where's my list? 1 second, because I got a list here. So, yep, first round is on me. Oh, I forgot to add Crowbot because they're number 8. So, number 9 for first rounds on me goes to Saul. Yep, number 9 right there, folks. Number 9. So, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Please make sure to follow Saul on all their places in social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I'm going to have their website there, their merch on there. When it comes to find them for streaming when Rise Equals comes out on October 23rd, you can listen to the singles now. You'll find Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and then you're going to find all my stuff. So please follow us. Please subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already. And that's going to be it for me today, guys. Thank you guys for watching and listening. This is incredible. You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression podcast, brought to you by My Sunday Rock 2000 or MSOTD Rocks for Rock and Metal Thrive. And you guys know how I end every single one of these episodes with a big, healthy, and hearty. See